In Investing 101 today, we are bringing in Patty Wee. She's the Senior Management Research Analyst at Morningstar. So thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
We are taking a look at fees attached to mutual funds and ETFs. So first question is, what has a lower cost, an ETF or a mutual fund when it comes to paying fees?
Okay, well the simple answer is that ETFs are cheaper than mutual funds, generally speaking. The reason why is because ETFs, most of them track an index. So basically like the S&P 500, if they track the S&P 500, they just hold what's in the S&P 500 and that's all they do, as opposed to an actively managed mutual fund where the manager has to have a team, they got to research stocks, so obviously that costs more to run. So ETFs tend to be cheaper.
How can an investor find out how much they're actually paying in fees? Because sometimes, I hope it's not intentional, but sometimes it feels a little hidden to me.
Right, it is a little hard. For ETFs, it's a little bit easier. Usually if you can just go to the fund provider's website and you can see the fees. With ETFs, you trade it, so there are commission costs associated, which on a discount brokerage is $5 to $10, which is not very much. If you're buying your mutual funds on a 401k platform, you have to go through all the details, go on the website and try to figure out what the costs are. And then if you get it through an advisor, you should talk to your advisor, get a breakdown of all the fees, as well as his or her, kind of advisor fee as well.
Is there ever a way to avoid fees with mutual funds or even ETFs?
That's hard. No one wants to give anything away for free. With ETFs, some platforms like Schwab and Vanguard, they let you trade their ETFs for free on their platforms. As for other fees, when you have an advisor, I guess if you've been investing for many decades, you might have a lot of embedded long-term capital gains. So it's very difficult to just take your portfolio, sell everything, and then move everything to cheaper funds. It's just not possible for many investors. Another thing is that as your assets grow when you have an advisor, it does open the possibility of talking to your advisor and asking for lower fees as your assets get bigger.
So you're asking for transparency?
Yes, exactly.
What are the fee levels? Are they extraordinary, or how do you find them? I know it's hard to ballpark because everything's different, but can you just give us a feel for fees?
Yes, so the cheapest S&P 500 ETFs, they're about 4 basis points, which is incredibly cheap. So the average large blend actively managed mutual fund is about 57 basis points. So with that fee differential, an active manager needs to be able to outperform the index by 50 basis points every year on average, which is quite difficult.
When you say a basis point?
It's 1/100%.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.